In the early 1700s, a legend in England began to spread very quickly. A legend was a type of boogeyman story, which was supposed to be an influence to small children to behave. Well, that's how it started anyway. The legend says that if you go into the woods in the small town at night, the Tree Man will get you. The Tree Man was said to be tall and thin, having glow eyes and arms and legs that were like branches of a tree. The children's parents would say that's how he tricks you. Of course, some kids decided that it would be fun to see if it was true or not, so they went into the woods. The kids were never seen again. About a year later, the bones of 3 kids were found. Each child's remains suggest that they were found around the age of 15. The bones were bleached in white, picked clean off of any skin or tendons. The doctors could not tell what had happened to them due to the significant amount of damage done to the bones. After the children's bones were found, their parents went crazy. One of the mothers even tried to kill her husband. She failed but ended up taking her own life. The fathers hung themselves with dead vines around the forest, left one note before committing the act. It read, "I can no longer sleep. I can no longer eat or live. Each time I close my eyes, I see his face." All of this has been started from that horrible man. In 1902, a group of first and second graders began to act strangely. They would hit each other, of course. The teachers were drawing disturbing pictures. And the worst part was by far, the pictures would depict the child next to what appears to be a dead and rotting tree in the shape of a man. He appeared at least 13 feet tall and have long branch-like limbs and white eyes. 2 weeks later, all the kids mysteriously disappeared. All their parents had said to their children would not stop talking about and drawing someone said the Tree Man. The noted parents and were placed under the mental institution. After the children had vanished. Years later in 2005, a child got lost in the woods. He was found 3 weeks later, and he'd gotten thin from starvation, but he was pale and crying next to him. He made 10 figures out of branches of twigs. A police officer asked him how that made him. The child only looked it up and the officer said, "Him." 3 weeks later, the child went missing for good, never to return. His mother was found curled up in a fetal position, crying. Next to her was a piece of paper. It had twigs on it, making symbols that seemed to be form language that could not be identified. Up until then, there had been nothing else, except for a small amount of information on the attacks. The attacks only happened parts of the woods where the trees dead and rotting, or someone falls in their sleep in the woods to see the trees. Well, that, my little pretties, was the Tree Man. This creepypasta, yeah, it's a regular creepypasta. So, yeah, I actually really thought this was a pretty good story. I remember people like Mr. Creeps McPasta, Tony Two Metal, Lance's Creepy Reading, and a few other narrators who also narrated the story. This actually has to be one of the best stories I've came across based on this Tree Man who appears to be kind of similar to the Boogeyman, but except it's just different. Like, I'm just gonna say, this story honestly has a pretty good storyline for it. So I definitely have to say I really like how this story went out, as well as the good concept of how it went out. I actually really do find this to be a very believable legend. I mean, we all know that urban legends can sometimes be real. I mean, yeah, some are proven to be real and others are not proven to be real, or some, I guess it just depends on how people believe and what their beliefs are in that. So, I guess with that being said, I don't know who the original author of this story is, so to the author of the story, if you happen to come across this video and you happen to be the author of the story, feel free to let me know in the comments below if you have a YouTube account, so then that way I can make sure to give you proper credit. So, the grammar was good, as well as the sentence structuring, and I do like how the story was, structured in a sense, so I was able to read this story. The fact that children have gone missing, I have a feeling that it might have been some sort of boogeyman or something. I have a feeling because it was mentioned in it, so I have a feeling that it could have been that killed the kids, or some sort of something happened. Like, the children mysteriously disappeared, so we don't really get information as to how they disappeared. I mean, it's pretty interesting for a concept like this. Now, like I said, pretty good story. I mean, I really personally thought it was a good one. This is on the regular Creepypasta Wiki if you guys are all wondering where I found this story at, and I recommend you read this story. If you haven't, it's good. I recommend it. It's good. I also really do like the fact that, the author managed to put his or her time and effort into the story. So, I mean, I like the plot and the concept of this story. I thought it was really neat and well done. But despite that there might have been a flaw in there, is we don't really get information of what killed the kids that went in the woods, and the fact that the parents, took their own lives after. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can understand why he did that, but at the same time, though, it's kind of confusing on, why certain things like that just happen suddenly without, you know, barely any description of what happened to the kids or something. I mean, I know they died, but it doesn't really go into depths on how they died or something. But yet again, the world is a mystery, and to be honest. So, with that being said, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas. This is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story is a 10 out of 10. Although I could safely say the one flaw of it being it doesn't go into description of what killed the kids. I would like it if it did maybe give us hints as to what happened. I know it kind of did, but doesn't really give us much details. But with that being said, it's a pretty good story. So, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what have you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.